So to continue this discussion now, joining us now for more insight is Kelly Chase, host of the UFO Rabbit Hole Podcast. Kelly, thank you so much for your time. First, we just heard from Senator Rubio there. How significant are his comments?
Well, thank you so much for having me today. These comments are huge, even for those of us in the community who maybe have seen this coming for a while. Some of this isn't a huge surprise for those of us who've been studying it for a long time. And I think that as the public gets more familiar with this story, they're going to realize how much of it was hiding in plain sight. However, to hear something like this, to hear that a member of the Gang of Eight is willing to go on the record and say that more high-level officials with firsthand knowledge of these crash retrieval programs, I mean, that's huge. This is progress that we've never seen before, and it feels like we're getting a kind of momentum that we've really only just hoped for.
Well, and Kelly, because again, Grush is a whistleblower here, but he's not some wacko, some stereotype of somebody in their basement. And we're talking about a former intelligence official here. Does this give even more credibility to David Grush?
Absolutely. I think David Grush on his own has a very high level of credibility. This is someone who we are entrusting with briefing the president on a daily basis. And so this is someone, that we can trust and that we have trusted. But, people have been waiting to hear from the people who have firsthand knowledge of these crash retrieval programs. And so this is really promising to hear that these people have come forward and that they are talking to the Congress and that they are corroborating David Grush's claims. It only just adds credibility on top of credibility, and I'm hopeful that people are going to start paying more attention to this story.
Yeah, exactly. I certainly think that this will at least make a few more people perk up, right? But again, what about the fact that we still haven't seen any evidence? What is your message to people who say, I'm not going to believe this until I actually see something?
I mean, I think that that's really reasonable, right? That's a really reasonable response. But I think we also have to recognize is that there is no real mechanism for these classified documents and information and all of that to be released directly to the public. And so we haven't seen the evidence because we can't really see the evidence. However, this is the time where we need to be urging our representatives in Congress to do their job. I'm very encouraged by the legislation that we're seeing them working on, by the comments from Marco Rubio and other members of the Intelligence Committee. And I think that this is a great progress, but we'd have to wait and not draw any conclusions and wait for the members of Congress to do their job in investigating this situation.
Yes, speaking of the members of Congress, obviously we just heard from Senator Rubio there, but we are hearing that the House Oversight Committee, as you know, is in the early stages of preparing a hearing on UFOs. Do you think the American people will have some real tangible answers soon?
I'm very hopeful that they will. And like I said, the best thing that we can do sitting at home is to continue to communicate with our representatives in Congress, let them know that this is something that's extremely important to us and that we want answers. But yes, I'm extremely hopeful. We've never gotten this far before. The legislation that's coming out that could potentially give some sort of leniency and protection to people who maybe have this information or even have these materials to come forward without any kind of legal repercussions. These are huge moments, and I'm very, very hopeful that we're going to be seeing some real evidence soon.
Oh, well, Kelly, my last question for you. What do you make of the fact that, at least so far, we haven't seen any public attempt to discredit Grush, but yet we also have not seen any additional whistleblowers who are also coming forward saying what he is saying is true. I've seen it myself.
Absolutely. Well, we know now that these people have been speaking to Congress, and we have to recognize that as much as everyone wants answers right now, I want answers right now, that these are matters of national security. And so we have to wait for these things to go through the proper channels. Those things are happening, and we can be very encouraged by that. But yeah, I think it's a situation where everyone's very eager, but we just have to wait and see and wait for everyone in Congress to do their jobs.
All right. Host of the UFO Rabbit Hole Podcast, Kelly Chase, thank you so much for your time.